Deadline 2024 is in the books for Shawn Michaels NXT, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to review it. I am here to give you all the highs and all the lows. Hi there, my little demons and divas and demonites. Bienvenidos. Welcome back to my channel. ¿Qué es la que hay, mi gente? Estamos activados, estamos encendidos. It is I, Isa, aka the Demon Diva, and the big dog somewhere in here talking WWE NXT Deadline. Obviously, the big showcase of this event is the Iron Survivor Challenge match. And they delivered. We're going to talk all about them. And I'm not going to do 5 highs and 5 lows. This was quite a short pay-per-view, so we're going to go match by match, and I'll tell you what I liked and what I didn't like about each and every one of them. But before I do all of that, allow me to remind you to please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I upload a video. Also, maybe you can consider joining the channel, becoming a Demonite, to get exclusive access to Demonite only content, emotes, etc. Get right into it because the PLE opened up hot. Very, very hard to follow with the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. And this was incredible. Obviously, we know storyline wise they have injured Eddie Thorpe, so he was not able to be a part of this. And Ava, the GM of NXT, earlier on in the evening tweeted, hey, due to his injuries, Eddie Thorpe is not going to be able to be a part of the match, but don't worry, I have a replacement. I immediately replied. I was like, you know what to do, sis? With a nice gif of a Femi. And we go into this match knowing that there's going to be a surprise entrant. Of course, I automatically assumed that surprise entrant was going to come in last. But as of right now, the participants that we do know are going to be there for sure are Xavant Evans, Bouncy, Wesley. We have Nathan Frazier, who also has a match later on in the evening, so shout out to him. And of course, All Ego Ethan Page. Later on, we find out, spoiler again, alert, it is over Femi, the 5th match, and at that point you're like, oh, it's over for everybody. The high of this match for me is gonna have to be Ethan Page. I enjoyed his work. He played the chicken shit heel so well. Him not wanting to go into the cage, going in there and getting murdered by Oba Femi. I just thought he was a big highlight in this match, and I enjoyed everything that he did. I don't have any criticisms for Ethan Page in this match. Another high for me is gonna have to be obviously the return of Oba Femi, because the last time that we saw him, he was losing the North American Championship to Tony D'Angelo. So personally, I feel like creative-wise, it was very smart of them to keep him off TV for a little bit so that you can bring him back in this specific situation, make him #1 contender, and nobody's going to complain about it, even though he was in the losing side of things the last time that we saw him. However, that does leave me to a little bit of a low, because as soon as Oba Femi's music hit, you knew he was gonna win. But how? I thought he was creative. A big high on the match is how Oba Femi scored to end up with a 3 pinfalls. The final score, let me pull that up real quick because I don't remember the final score. The final score was Oba Femi with 3 over Ethan Page. He had 2 falls. Xavant Evans had 2 falls. Wesley and Nathan Frazier each with 1 fall. I would have to say a low here is that, no, actually Nathan Frazier came in and he went crazy when he first came in. So I gotta say, short hair Wesley, I feel like was the least standout in this match, which is crazy to say because I do not take that as bad criticism. Everybody was going in. It was crazy. I thought Xavant Evans shined here ridiculously. He was so good. He was flying everywhere. The future is bright for Xavant Evans. And like I told you, I really enjoyed everything that Ethan Page did. Nathan Frazier, when he came in, he was like, he turned it up to 1,000. Like, he was going crazy. And like, the more that I think about it, the more that I can't really think of a lot of big spots from Wesley. So I feel like he was like the one that shined the less here, but it's not a bad compliment. Everybody was just so great in this match. Again, Xavant Evans was incredible. And Nathan Frazier, the story with him was he got busted open. He was bleeding and It's like, how is he going to hold up to defend the tag team titles later on with Axiom? Because remember, he is tag team champs and they do have a match later on in the card. I give this match a 4 out of 5. I thought everybody shined. I thought everybody looked great. I do think it was a little bit predictable as soon as Obafemi's music hit who was going to win. And I think that differs this match from the women's match, which was a lot slow paced, a lot of less pinfalls, but up until the very last 20 freaking seconds, I didn't know who was going to walk away with the win. And I like that unpredictability that the women's match had over this one, and I feel like maybe that's why they put it up first, because they knew as soon as people saw Obafemi come out, they were like, yeah, he's got this. As we move on, I do want to say that I did miss these 3 characters on this pay-per-view: Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Tony D'Angelo. They were missed here tonight. I thought their presence or a little bit of a backstage from them would have been fun, but we did get a backstage from Tiffany Stratton teasing a cash-in on the Women's NXT Champion. She also tweeted that she wanted an NXT Underground match against Lola Vice, and you know what?
I'm interested.
I love the idea of Tiffany Stratton teasing around. I love the idea of having her there. That is her hometown. It made all the sense. Tiffany's a legend in NXT, and I like her lurking around saying, I could cash in on this title too. So shout out to Tiffany Stratton from the main roster making her appearance here on NXT. She does have some experience with that Iron Survivor Challenge match, so it was cool to see her. Hi, editing Demon Diva here, and I forgot that I wanted to give a shout out to the venue. I thought that was a beautiful venue, a smaller venue. It was packed, great crowd, but I just thought I loved the venue. And also to Lexus King, who had a vignette talking about what that city meant to him, which I thought was a solid promo, and I forgot to mention it in the video, so I'm inserting it now. Bye! Now let's move on to the next match in the card, and this was the NXT Underground match between Lola Vice and Jada Parker. And I gotta tell you, a big high is that I thought Jada Parker looked incredible. She was doing a lot of very innovative things. When she did the spot where she grabbed Lola Vice's black belt and tied her up with it, like, I thought that was really good. I thought her, as soon as she saw that she injured the hand, capitalizing on that, taking the glove off, I thought it was great. I thought that Jada just looked so dominant. However, she made a lot of rookie mistakes. I'm not giving that a low, because Lola Vice took full advantage of her experience, her background, and won the match out of nowhere, because she was getting her ass kicked the majority of it. And I like that. This is Lola Vice's match, and when she loses one, it should be a big deal. I didn't think it was time for it yet, but when Jada went for the pin, I was like, well, rookie mistake, and then I was like, well, she is a rookie, and I thought that Lola Vice capitalizing on the opportunity and showing, I don't need my hand to win one of these, because it is a submission, so she put a sleeper hold on her, which she kept going for after getting that hand injured. I thought it was great, and it was a great showcase for Jada Parker. So yeah, overall, it was a lot of fun. I will say, if I had to give this a low, because I really enjoyed it, it would have to be the people that they have around the ring. I thought they were a little too extra and sometimes distracting from the action that was happening on there, but they did play that nice part. One of them got kicked, etc. I think somebody landed on them, so they did play a part, and it does make the match feels a little more raw. But at this point, so if you want the match to feel raw, put it in like a different space or do something different, because those people they did take away a couple of times from me trying to enjoy the match. But that's just a nitpick low. I thought they killed it. I'm very high on Jada Parker, but I love that Lola Vice is the queen of the NXT Underground match, and every time that she calls you out on that, you better watch out. And hey, Tiffany Stratton called you out, answer the phone, say yes, let's see it. Up next, we had the tag team titles match, and we had a very taped up. He had like cotton balls up his nose because his nose was busted open. His ribs are taped up. You don't know if it's 100% Nathan Frazier and Axiom defending against the No Quarter Cash Crew, Miles Bourne and Trayvon Heights. This was fun. I didn't feel invested. I didn't think that we paid off the tension between Nathan Frazier and Axiom, or is Nathan Frazier gonna be okay? At some points it would look like he couldn't go on, and then it would look like he will forget all about it. and be fine, which I can suspend my disbelief and put it on the adrenaline of the match and the moment where he just forgets that he's super injured. But the going in and out of the, oh, I'm hurt and not hurt, to end up performing perfectly the last 5 minutes of the match and retaining, you just feel like, well, why we do all that for? And then they tweeted, everything's okay here. So maybe the breakup is not coming. Maybe that's their gimmick where they're going to tease all this stress between them, but overall they are fine. So yeah, they retained. It was a fun match. I think some of the highs here is that I really thought that Miles and Trayvon, I thought they looked great. I thought they performed and they kept up with Nathan Frazier and Axiom, who are such fast mover, high flyers. So it was a lot of fun to see. They have very different wrestling styles, but I thought they clashed very well. I thought they had some chemistry in there, and I thought it was fun. But it just felt like another showcase match. Like, and I'm not like crazy on Nathan Frazier and Axiom, but at this point it's just like I don't feel like NXT has a credible tag team to take them down. I feel like they face everybody. So what are we gonna do here? They're gonna stay champs forever, possibly, because I don't see a tag team right now that could beat them. Even with the tension, even with Nathan Frazier at 50%, they couldn't beat them. So who's gonna beat them? You feel me? So that's my low for me there. But I did think a couple of times that no Quarter Cash Crew had it won. So they did a good job with the false finishes here. Fun match overall. Then we had the NXT World title match, and this was Trick Williams between Rich Holland, and I think that we all thought if Rich Holland wins, we're quitting. We're rage quitting immediately. But that is not the case. Trick Williams retained. I hate to do this, but this might be my least favorite match in the card, and it is not on Trick. It was just not a lot of chemistry, not a lot of us feeling invested. Maybe it should have been a triple threat and included Andre Chase in there. But yeah, you're giving Trick Williams some solid wins on his title reign, which he needs. But I just wasn't into it. I just don't think that Rich Holland is it. And as soon as he became number one contender, I'm like, okay, so we're just gonna do it for a throwaway match. Now Trick Williams and Obafemi, I'm all in. I never felt all in this feud at all. I was more invested in Andre Chase getting the opportunity than I was into Rich Holland. Maybe that was by design. I'm not sure. I had a couple of really cool spots there. At one point, Rich Holland kind of teased doing to Trick Williams what he did to Big E, which put him out of action. And at one point, Trick Williams got stuck in the ropes, which made sense. We were talking in the watch along, guys. I do watch alongs for all events I'm available for. So cheap plug here: Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, pay-per-views, PLEs. I go live with a watch along as long as I'm available. So if you need a fun community and a fun chat, make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I go live. But we were talking about, we noticed immediately that the ropes were loose. And I didn't think they looked that loose for the tag team title match. They were pretty tight for the opening match. So I was like, okay, well, maybe the ropes are loose because they had to remove them from the NXT Underground match. Maybe NXT Underground matches should go last every time they're in the card so it doesn't affect the ropes. But then we saw a spot in which Trick went to flip and he went to clothesline Rich out of the way, out of the ring, but Rich got out of the way, making Trick Williams get his neck got stuck in the ropes. And I actually squirmed at that, and I'm not that kind of person. I love hardcore matches. Like, I'm used to seeing all kinds of crap. Those are the kind of things that make me squirm. I feel like things that are very real or realistic and you don't see every day are the things that make you go, ooh, especially when you're very desensitized to wrestling because you watch it so much. So I thought it was a great spot, but I was like, get him out of those ropes, you know? So Trick Williams keeps being our NXT World Champ. He's over everywhere he goes. His entrance is magical. The whole crowd interacts. Like, he is him too, you know? I know that Carmelo Hayes is him, but Trick Williams is him too, okay? All right. I'm excited, but I hope that he moves on. I think that Trick and Obafemi could cook. We'll see what they work up. And to close the pay-per-view, we have the women's Iron Survivor. I'm sorry, I called this match the Iron Chef Survivor Series match, and I want to call it that. But I'm trying to be serious in this review. You know, I'm trying to give you guys some professionalism here. So I'm trying to call it by its name. The closing match was the Iron Survivor Challenge match between the women. We had Julia, Ren Sinclair, they came in first. I think so. Ruka came in next. Then then Stephanie Becker and Syria. I can't remember the order. Stephanie Becker came in last. My winning picks were Sol Ruka and probably Stephanie Becker. that's not how it went down. I didn't like Ren Sinclair taking all the pins, but if they did that, again, by design, it worked because the crowd was with her. They were chanting for her because she took like 99% of the pins. But who pinned Julia? I can't remember. Maybe it was Saraya. Somebody pinned Julia because Julia was in the penalty box at one point. But Ren Sinclair is going to have to pay rent for her time spent in the box during this match. I thought Ruka did some incredible spots. I didn't think this was as high pace as the men's was, but like I told you earlier, it's unpredictable. You didn't know who was going to win. We're going into the last minute of this match and everybody has one fall each. And of course, at that point, Ruka gets pinned, which I think it was by Stephanie Becker. It upset me because I'm like, well, she's not winning. Because I assumed they were going to go crazy and try to score a pinfall. I think it was it, I don't know, maybe it was Saraya. Somebody was trying to score the double pin like what Obafemi did. I thought that was smart. I was like, oh, you were watching earlier. You took some notes. So shout out to them. But it was Julia who scores the last pinfall on the last 5 seconds. Stephanie Becker tried to counter. I thought at that moment they were going to have her score a pinfall and they were going to be tied, but that wasn't the case. It was Julia who walked away with the win here. It may be a nitpicking because she wasn't in my winner's pick, but I feel like I feel like Julia and Roxanne Perez already have a story. So I didn't think that she needed to win this to become #1 contender. She's a star. Like, you're booking her like a star. So I always think like this is an opportunity to put somebody in that spot. But it was announced on New Year's Eve, it's going to be the winner, which was Julia against Roxanne Perez. Now, there was a little bit of tension between Stephanie Becker and Julia. Would that come back later? I don't know. You also have that relationship that Roxanne has with Cora Jade. So is Cora Jade going to help her? We'll see. But overall, another solid premium live event from WWE NXT when Shawn Michaels is cooking Get Out of the Kitchen because he is killing it. The middle of the show just felt a little bit compared to the two highs from the Iron Survivor Challenge matches, but it's like those matches are just so crazy, so many pinfalls, so many things, so many possibilities that could happen that it's very hard to live up to that. But I really enjoyed every match. If I gotta give you my match of the night, it's gonna have to be the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. And my least favorite is probably the NXT World Championship match, but that's not on Trick. That's all on Rich Holland. But I gotta give NXT Deadline 2024 an 8.5 out of 10. I was entertained. There was some good wrestling. A lot of people shined the way they're supposed to. A lot of people, some stories might have been created here. We'll see where everything goes. Let me know in the comments down below what was your favorite match. What was your favorite moment from NXT's Deadline? Are you excited for Obafemi against Trick Williams? Are you excited for Julia against Roxy Part 2? Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching this review. Until next time, adios. Mwah.